You know what? Are we? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gadget Talk. I got a special guest here, Chandran. Unfortunately, I'm driving the show tonight, and we did start 9 minutes ago. And I forgot to hit. I did the opening, did everything. Forgot to hit the go live because Derek's the producer. That's what he normally does. So we'll start over here. Let's go ahead and do the opening and start this thing.
Let's go.
Well, that's not the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, but it's up there. That's crazy. So anyway, if you can see here, Derek is not here. We have a special guest today I'm very excited about. Shannon from Memphis area.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Hopefully
appreciate you on.
Really live now.
Yes. Everybody, if you can hear us, let us know in the chat. Tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear you there. But we have, real quick, just go over who we have. We have Dave Wagner, DJW House, in the show. He does the kits, builds the kits. Great creator. Bell on the Move, which you met out there in Memphis. Just finding our way from Arizona. And then we have Sparky 1916. Hello. Mini Meg from California.
What's up?
Storm Cashers. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, what's up? Just telling everybody hello.
Yeah. Storm Chasers, Scrabble Hounds, Joyful Nomad, Ken and Trudy.
Yep.
Great people. I've had them in my old shop that I have here. So
very cool.
Love to have them back in sometime. And then Darren Archer from Australia. Good morning. He's from the future. Tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. It's always a joke we have. Is that Thunder 360? I'm not sure what that means. 10. Oh, the countdown. Yes.
Countdown. When we weren't.
Yeah. So anyways, real quick, before we go any further, let's go ahead and get the sponsors taken care of here, and then we'll come back and have a good show.
Okay.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Okay, we're back. So... real quick, just to talk, Shannon is a geocache creator, a gadget cache creator, and more from Tennessee.
Cool.
You have an amazing cache there that I want you to talk about real quick. It's a 4.5/5, right?
Yeah. So it's called Vertical Madness, and some of you got to experience it if you were here at the event, and many more of you have heard about it. But it's just a simple ammo can in a tree, is what I tell people. But it's not so simple. That ammo can is 80 feet up, and it requires much special gear to get to it. But I've had tons of people climb that tree and overcome amazing obstacles, and that's what it's all about for me. I've built some incredible friendships and watched people just accomplish things, like I said, that they never imagined that they could accomplish.
That's great. My son and my wife did that climb with you.
Yeah.
So amazing. You're there, you have the equipment, you set them up.
Yep.
It's very safe. And I really appreciate that. My wife and son did. They both talk about it. My wife, she was going to do it when she showed up, watch my son do it. And then she's like, no, I don't want to do it. And you talked her into it. And afterwards she was like, I'm so glad he made me do it because it was the best thing she's ever done.
Yeah. A lot of people get there, man. And their nerves start to get a hold of them a little bit. And then they start finding reasons why they shouldn't do it. I don't have time, or I want to let other people go first. But it is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And like your wife, I am so glad she did it as well. I know that was a memorable moment for her, and she'll remember that forever.
Well, and that's all she talked about too. I think even a week beforehand, she was, communicating with you to set it up. And then when she got there, she's like, no, I don't think I'll do it. I'm not going to force her to do it, but
sure.
You had a better chance. You did a better job of talking her into doing it than me.
That's right. I mean, it's hard. It's hard, but it's amazing.
So if no one has seen this, I do have a few photos here. This is you actually after you set my son up. So this is my son climbing the tree here. He's about 8 to 10 feet up.
Yeah. Look at that location.
Yeah. Oh, the location is beautiful. This park and the lake was amazing. You couldn't find a better location, and it was such a nice day. But the nice thing about it is you're in the shade too. It's hot and sunny, but you're in the shade because Eleanor creates a great shade.
Eleanor is the tree.
So right here is my son. He's about halfway up here. As you can see, this is a special system that you're using to climb. So can you explain real quick how that system works?
Yeah, so that system comes right out of the industrial access genre of climbing. And so it uses a chest ascender that's sewn into a full body harness that captures all of your progress. And then it uses a hand ascender attached to your hands and your feet. And basically you're sitting and standing and you're flip-flopping between which device holds you up, between the hand ascender and the chest ascender on your harness. So you basically inchworm your way up the tree.
I know my wife, when she was done, said that she did it once, but she's never going to do it again. That was the hardest thing she did. And then an hour later, after she's rested, she's like, I'd do that again in a second.
That's right.
It's like running a marathon. She's like, I've done it once. I don't need to do it again. And then the next day she's like, okay, I can't wait for the next one. So
awesome.
Tricassius from Gilby, North Dakota, mentions that there is someone next to him that does a cliff rappel event every year. That'd be fun. I'd like to know more about that. That might be worth going.
Yeah, I met Esco Climber. He climbed my tree. He climbed the cache.
Oh,
and he's an old retired fireman, and so he's got a lot of years of on rope experience. But he learned some things that he didn't know about different, new types of gear. And but he and his crew all climbed the tree. I think the cache that he does every year, it's you rig up at the top and you rappel down a cliff, and then you're done. So you don't have to climb back up. So even though you get the thrill of being on rope and being high in altitude, but so you don't have to climb the rope. So it's not very physically demanding, but still a lot of fun.
That's fun. The most I've done with that is rappelling at the airport. I was involved with something at the airport. We used to rappel down the sides to practice the sides of the parking garage from level to level and stuff. And then off the top of a 747, which you don't realize that's 3 stories tall.
It's tall.
But yeah, that was fun, but that's about all I've done with rope stuff.
Yeah. So I worked for a company for a little while that I get some weird static over here.
I think your volume is muted, or you're kind of hard to hear.
We'll try that.
There they go. That's better.
Okay, cool. So this company, we rappelled off high-rise buildings for charity, and so we did some 300 and 400 foot rappels down the side of buildings, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. In my years of construction, we used a lot of ropes and yo-yos and stuff, but we didn't, we weren't using them for holding. Well, we weren't supposed to be.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes you're near the edge of something and you just need to reach out a little bit further to get something. You use that rope, but
that's right.
You're not supposed to. That is great. So I think that's great. That cache is 80 feet in the air. From the ground. Amazing.
For anyone interested, that the GC number is GC. Well, so my mind just went blank. GC3 PBHR, I believe.
GC3 what?
PBHR, I think, is the code for that.
I'll put it in the chat here.
We can maybe check it real quick. I think that's it. GC3 PBHR. Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick. And so one of the other cool things about this cache is, although it's not required, you do take donations, and I was very happy to give you some for rope and equipment. You switch it out regularly, so it's safe.
Yeah, I call it cache funded. It's to me, it's all part of the community. If we can all be involved and all pitch in a little bit, keeps the gear brand new and fresh and available for everyone. It's not a cache that I expect people to go out and spend hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars and buy their own, tools of the trade, specialized tools to do this cache. I want to host you. I want to make it safe, and I want to give you the best equipment that we can have to get you up there. So what's really, really cool is the donations that we received from the event. I was able to purchase several new pieces of gear, including a brand new rope. So I was pretty excited about that.
That's cool. This wasn't an official part of Cache Fest, although it should have been. And I think next time, if we have it there again, we're going to have to do some work and work with you on doing some event there at that cache.
I think it'll be crazy. It'll be really good. I kind of have a wild idea of maybe hanging 2 ropes at a time and maybe have a little competition to see who can get to it first.
That's fun. I would win getting there last if that's one. But I'm not the one to race you up that. That's really cool. And I think that the Vertical Madness is the name of the cache. Did you confirm that GC code?
Yep. I see several people have put it up.
Oh, okay. Great.
GC3 PBHR is correct.
Okay. So anyways, if you have a chance, how do they do that cache if they're in the area?
So if they're in the area, just contact me, send me a message on geocaching, and we'll set up a time, and I make it convenient for you. If you're not in the area, send me a message and we'll set up a time, and we'll do it anyway. It's a cache alive is worth a drive, baby.
Yeah. Well, it was worth it. It definitely was fun to go to. Sparky 1916. This is how you know it. 3 peanut butter home run.
Oh,
so, PBH. I probably won't forget it now.
That's funny.
Yeah. So kind of transition here a little bit. You also have a job that you do during the day that is really fun, and I'm kind of jealous. I'd love to do this job. What is it that you do?
Yeah, so when I'm not climbing trees, I am an escape room designer builder. Been doing that
so
for
cool.
Several years and absolutely love it.
Now, we did a lot of escape rooms, we did several escape rooms when we were there. And I'll tell you what, the escape rooms there are amazing. They are so well built.
Thanks.
I've done a lot of escape rooms all over the place, and these are amazing. And I'll have to give you, the way you made these and the way your company puts these escape rooms out, puts the money into them.
Yep.
Is amazing. So a cool thing about doing escape rooms is, first of all, what got you into making escape rooms? Let's start there.
Man, so a combination of things. So when you take the fact that I grew up in a fabrication shop, my dad was a metal fabricator. So I learned redneck engineering at a very young age. You know what I mean? So take that and my just passion to build and create, and then put that with geocaching, and I learned about escape rooms, and it just fit. I was at a place where I was transitioning out of my tree service company, and I wanted something else to do that if I fell down, I would only fall from 5 feet 10 up rather than from way up in a tree. And so I met the owners of this escape room company, and it just worked out, and it's been pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things about making escape rooms stuff, it's kind of the similar to making geocache gadgets, is when you make these, they actually get a lot of use, right? They get a lot of touching, a lot of playing with, probably some rough handling of the different games or puzzles.
That's
and
right.
they have to last.
That's
so what
right.
do you guys do to make them last?
Well, so our games do get a lot of abuse. They get regular play, hundreds and hundreds of times a week. They get handled. And if you think about if you've ever played an escape room or if you've ever tried to solve a gadget cache, it's not just picking it up and handling it one time the right way, but it's, man, I got to shake it and I got to jiggle it and I got to put it this way and rack this over here. And so the games get a lot of abuse. So when we build them, number one, we're trying to use the best materials that we can. And number two, we overbuild. We build stuff to where we call it bulletproof. In our testing phase, we might build a box or a mechanism that's part of a puzzle, and then we beta test it. We take it and we let people abuse it. We throw it on the ground. We try to break it. We rack it back and forth really hard. And if it doesn't pass those tests, then we know that it won't pass general public. So we'll go back to the drawing board in some cases and design it better.
That's really cool. I obviously I don't have the crowd you do to test stuff and see if it works. I do as much testing as I can here, but there's always something that someone thinks about that I never did when I'm building these, right? And then you're like, oh, I got to redesign that. Luckily, I have enough people around here. I just do an event and we'll take things to test, to beta test. But I think that's really cool. So do you use, when you're doing electronics and stuff, what do you use to make these so they're really reliable?
So we have found that in the games that we design, instead of using like an Arduino or computer-based circuitry, we like to go old school, man. Is we use simple components. We have a lot of basic mag locks. We have basic mag switches. We have, the wiring is super simple. We use 12-volt relays, and we find that those things, they just don't break. It's old school. We might have a bank of 40 or 50 relays all stacked up in some odd configuration to do a few functions. The same thing that a little tiny microcomputer could do in a second. But it works, and it's easy to track down problems. I don't really have to write code. I don't have to have a computer programmer on staff. It's just simple circuitry.
That's great. And it's proven, and it, you don't have any issues with it. Why change it? And I know there's a lot of people that, a lot of cachers ask me, because I use a lot of Arduino stuff in mine, is how do I keep it from people breaking it or, getting moisture or anything like that.
That's right.
I make sure mine are in waterproof containers, and then, a lot of mine are attached to buildings so they can't get moved.
Right.
But that's a good point for you, is just basic electronics, basic switches and latches that, those typically don't fail very often. So
that's right.
That's the way to go.
So if you think about what we do, everything is 12 volts, right? It's all low voltage. So what else uses 12 volts that we use every day? Cars. So how many times have your kids just sat there on a door lock, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close? So that has to be an extremely durable mechanism. So in the same way, 12-volt systems, very basic systems, we use a lot of parts right out of the automotive industry because it's proven.
Yeah, that's nice. Here, Rubicats, which you met Doug Ross there at the event. He asked, do you consider change out time to replace broken items?
So if the question is change out time based, like maybe between rooms, like if I'm trying to guess if this puzzle breaks, how much time is it going to take me to fix it? Some puzzles, man, if they broke, we'd be hard pressed to fix it in a timely manner because they're very complex. Other puzzles, we build them in a modular fashion to where we try to engineer hard use, or we try to predetermine what might break on that puzzle so that it's a simple swap to get it going again. Usually we can fix a puzzle or at least make it operational for a participant within just a few minutes.
That's cool. I know on a lot of mine, and I know other cachers do this. I have several of them built, and mine are in modules to where I could just open it, pop the whole front off, everything's attached, pop a new one in, plug it in, and it's ready to go.
Yep, for sure.
That's easier for me because I don't have a place to solder it out in the field. I do have a cordless solder gun, but I prefer to bring it back to the shop and work on it here. So that's kind of nice. I know Roomba Cats has lots of extras.
We try to have someone on duty during all of our operational hours that's qualified to do maintenance on the majority of our stuff. So the last thing we want to do is to have a customer have kind of a rotten experience because something doesn't work in the room. It's just, we don't strive to do that at all. But there have been occasions when something is broken out of our control, and we either have to take that room offline for a little bit, or move somebody to a different room, give them a free room, or give them some kind of a discount just to try to help ease the sting of something not going the way that it should have gone.
Right.
Yep.
I get the same thing on some of my caches. People were like, it's not working. It's not doing this. This stage isn't working. So I temporarily disable it.
Yep.
Head out the next day or so and fix it, put it back online. So yeah, same thing. I mean, sometimes you just can't, it takes time to fix things.
That's right. That's right. And if we have a puzzle that becomes a frequent flyer in the broken compartment, if we find that it breaks more often than we would like it to, then, and we often will, instead of looking at, well, it's being abused by customers, we sort of absorb the blame and say, well, we didn't build it good enough. So a lot of times we'll go back to the drawing board and redesign a better one, and then replace that puzzle in the room completely with just a better design.
That's great. Yeah. And I'm sure that happens a lot. For me, I've had to redesign stuff, not say anything, but yeah, I mean, that all goes down to geocaching related to making these escape rooms, and they have to see a lot of people, and people touch and feel, and force stuff. And unfortunately with geocaches, you don't have someone sitting there watching you the whole time going, hey, what are you doing? So a couple of mine have cameras on that I can actually see people, but
that's right. I see Geocache has asked a question. What is an example of how someone solved an escape room puzzle in an unexpected way? It happens every once in a while. We have a lot of locks that might have 4 digits or 4 letters, and just by chance, people will guess into that. So that's certainly unexpected. Sometimes it will take the room and put it a little bit out of order, which we try to sort of pre-expect that, and using hints and our room hosts are very attentive, as we can steer them back to the track that we want them to take. But it happens. I mean, people solve stuff, people pull too hard on a mag lock or whatever, and it may come open when it's not supposed to. But not very often. I would say less than maybe 1 or 2% of the time is something solved out of order.
Stephanie Champion here mentioned, and she's kind of getting ahead of it, I was going to ask you what your favorite room is, but she asked, do you have a favorite puzzle that is one of the current escape rooms right now?
Favorite puzzle, man, that's tough. They're all really, really good. I think I like, my favorite room is called Shipwreck Cove, and it's a pirate ship room. I know Bell on the Move played it. And,
yeah, he mentioned it right here.
Several people played that room, but that is a really, really cool room. And so I can't really give an example of a favorite puzzle. I don't want to give away any secrets or let out any cats out of the bag,
Yep. No, we don't want you to either. Don't want you to get in trouble.
No.
But that's cool. And I did what was the High Noon one?
Yep.
I think it was called, and that was
Old
one
West
that you
Saloon.
designed. Yeah, that was really cool. And I won't give anything away, but the ending of it was amazing. I don't even know how you did that, but I want to do that to one of my geocaches.
That would be amazing. Quite surprising, one might say.
Yeah, it was. Tricashius here said, Have escape room puzzles or gadget caches influenced one or the other for you?
For me personally, I think that running through and building amazing escape room puzzles certainly stir the pot to come up with neat things to do in the field in the form of a geocache.
That's cool.
So for me anyway, I would say that building, because I do it every day, I think that building escape rooms would influence geocache puzzle making more, for sure.
And I think it does. There's channels on YouTube that you can actually watch people solve puzzle boxes and mini escape rooms. And, we all watch them and get ideas from them, and we may tweak the idea a little bit or something like that. But I think it all goes hand in hand. I mean, I've gotten a lot of ideas from escape rooms.
Yeah.
Little
comments.
Here we go. M from M says, "Hi, Chandram. Thanks for your help. Thanks for the help you gave me with the gadget cache."
Yeah, he sat next to me in the academy, so we kind of worked through that cube together a little bit.
Nice. I wish I could have spent more time with you there, but the academy's got busy.
Yeah,
academy's got busy, which was nice.
Crazy busy, but I know a lot of people went through it, and a lot of people enjoyed that. Man, you guys did a great job putting on that academy.
It was fun, and Scrabble Hounds mentioned something earlier. Was that they had so much fun building their gadget cache at Cache Fest, even though the soldering skills were almost non-existent.
It was tough.
We had people there helping. It was tough, especially during the second session when we ran out of the good solder, and we got some not so good solder in that did not work as well. But it was fun. Had a lot of fun at the place, or at Cache Fest building stuff and helping people. Also, Cache Line here said, personally, I love Chandram's tree climbing gadgets.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of. I think he's talking about the gear we talked about earlier.
Yeah, the gear. Yeah. So that is really cool. Do you have? I know Steph asked if you had a personal puzzle. Do you have a that you like? But what about a room itself at one of your guys' facilities that you built? Is there anything personally you like?
My favorite room, as we talked about, is the pirate ship room. It's an adventure. If you ever watched the movie Goonies as a kid, it is that movie in an escape room, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to do that one.
Yes, one of the things we pride ourselves in is complete immersion. So we want everything from the ceiling and the floor and the sound and when you touch things, everything should feel like you are there, for sure.
That's cool. And they do. The saloon was amazing. I mean, the floor squeaked and everything. I mean, it was like an old saloon.
Sure.
I thought it was amazing. I won't talk too much about it, but
yep.
Yeah, it was fun. So
I will say that. So we've done a bunch of escape rooms as a company as part of our research. We travel around all over, and we've probably done as a company collectively over 500 different escape rooms, and we learn more of what not to do than what to do. One of the trends in the industry is a lot of haunted house companies are seeing the profitability and the excitement in the escape room industry. So they're trying to migrate over into the escape room side of things. And it is, it's not good in our experience because, a haunted house, it's like cattle. They want to get as many people through as fast as possible. And so you lose a lot of customer service. Some of their set designs are really nice, but customer service goes out the window because they just want you to just go through, hurry, go through. We got to get the next people in. And so there's kind of a bad vibe in the industry where you lose customer service, something we really pride ourselves in. And I think you guys got to experience some of that at the event. Yeah.
And, we talked about this the other day. The nice thing about your rooms is coming from a landlord, property manager's perspective, you have the okay to do whatever you need to do in that room to make it cool.
Yes.
Versus some of the rooms you go to where it says VCT flooring and regular walls, and then there's puzzles around. They haven't done anything to.
Right.
that's what's really cool about yours is you're totally immersed in this whole scene, and you guys have everything. You have permission to do whatever you guys need to do to make that happen, and that's really cool.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it otherwise. We've had offers to move into other locations, but the restrictions would not let us be the company that we are.
I think I told you, I said, I don't know if I'd rent to, I would lease to you because of some of the things, but good for you guys.
Yeah. Trying to read some of these chats.
Yeah.
Ryan says he loved the story of the floorboards. I think I had a conversation with him on how those floorboards came about from some old rough sawn recycled lumber.
Well, and that's what's cool about these old, like this. Yeah. The saloon, you can use old wood, right? Because that's kind of what they were made out of. I mean,
exactly what it is.
You don't want new.
It's interesting. It's kind of like building a movie set. We wanted to build it. The idea is that you weren't a modern day explorer that discovered a 400-year-old saloon. Is you were there in that time period. So we have to build it old but new, if that makes sense. So it's not, you're not discovering an old broken down, relic. We want you to feel like you were there in that time period. So it's very, very likely that it could have been built a month ago or a year ago. So it's in good shape. It's clean. The barkeep has done a good job keeping his saloon clean. But it's done in such a way where it feels old.
It was cool. One of my problems that I've had with escape rooms in the past is I tend to get ahead of the puzzle. And a couple of times I've gotten ahead, but we couldn't move on because you had to finish one task to move on. And the person had to come in and say, whoa, you're too far. You need to stop and go back and finish this one puzzle. Because you're talking about the locks, right? How you can get 3 of the code, 3 of the digits, and maybe get lucky on the 4th or whatever. And
sure.
That's what happens.
So kind of bringing this back around to geocaching. So when we build escape rooms, we found that, and this is just something for you guys that are out there designing your own gadget cache, right? So you want it to be really cool. You want other people to enjoy it. So what we have found is that the best puzzles are the ones that will take both technology and old school tactile feeling keys and locks and combining those together. It's really cool if you have this high-tech device and there's colorful lights and you press some buttons and make some things happen, and that's really cool. But there's something about putting a key in a lock and turning it and it opens that's just very satisfying. So when you're designing a gadget cache, a good gadget cache, try to include both, in my opinion.
I have several more of my latch. I like it because it's loud and it just flings open. And so when you get the puzzle right, this door flings open, and people say it scares them, but the satisfaction from actually getting that thing open is so cool. So people love that. And I agree, to touch things, and move them around and do stuff with my hands is a lot better than not. So, I've done a lot of virtual escape rooms as well, where you're doing VR, and they're cool, but you don't physically touch anything.
Right.
So I like being able to actually touch stuff and see stuff and try and make stuff work versus not. I mean, they're both cool, but I prefer a real escape room like what you guys have.
Yep.
Over VR any day.
Yeah, we kind of did the VR approach during COVID just out of necessity. And it was the same rooms. We just had a live avatar as, that 5th person on a Zoom call. And then you just gave them verbal commands to go around in the room and go through all of the same puzzles. And we had pretty good luck with that. It was more of the exposure and keeping the escape rooms at the front of people's minds rather than making a bunch of money, because we did them for really cheap. So I'm looking at our Roomba when he's firing off questions.
Yeah, I was just going to go to those. I'm sure you can't answer this, but he asked that I bring it up
directly. So when we consider the subject matter of an escape room, relevance and popularity in today's culture is one of the things that we try to think about. So like when we built the pirate ship room, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean was in full swing. I think everyone loves a good pirate story. And I don't care what age you are, if someone has an opportunity to go on a pirate ship and explore, I mean, who would want to pass that up? No one. So, and then we also look at the industry. You know, in the escape room industry, there are tons of murder mysteries. There are tons of, you know, you're locked up in a jail cell. So we try to stay away from what everybody else does, and we try to create unique experiences for our customers. So it might be a movie that's popular. It might be a subject matter that's popular. We have a magician's room. You know, magic was really big, a really big theme for a long time. It still is with all the Harry Potter flow and everything. So we just try to follow what's popular and what's interesting for people. You know, if Disney's doing it, then we probably should too.
So, you know, bringing up Harry Potter, a fun thing that I thought would be fun for a cache is have a wand, and you can put an RFID chip in the tip of it.
Yep.
And you'd have to touch stuff in different areas, and you can have a reader behind somewhere in the wall. Right. You can't see it, and it would almost be like magic. And so that's something I've considered. You know, I think about these ideas, and I just don't have time to make them work.
Sure.
But I could print up a wand pretty easy, or even get one out of the back of the backyard and then drill a hole into it.
Yeah.
But I like ideas like that, and that's I'm actually gonna have to write that down, that I need to actually finish working on that. I have the idea written up. I haven't really worked on it, but it's been an idea. I think that'd be kind of cool. Roomba Cats also asks here, what are 5 things that make a great gadget cache?
5 things that make a great gadget cache. I don't know. You fire off a couple, Chad.
Well, I love experiences. So to me, it's going to be when you open it up, the wow factor of what it looks like.
Yep.
I mean, that to me, just like when you walk into an escape room, right? Wow,
Sure.
This is a saloon, right? And then the quality of the stuff is built out of, then the puzzle, and the puzzle's all with the experience of it, to me. And then the final part of it, which is the final piece of the puzzle that actually gets you to log the cache. To me, those are my favorite things.
I think one of the things that make a really good gadget cache, and it also makes great puzzles in an escape room, is the unexpected. If you feel like the puzzle or the gadget cache is taking you in a certain direction, and then all of a sudden there's a little bit of misdirection, and it requires something that maybe you weren't expecting, and it's that surprise factor. I think that's something to definitely consider whenever when making a good gadget cache.
That's cool. Yeah, good answer there. Martin here is asking, Martin Jones, what's the emblem on your shirt? I know what it is, but you might want to tell people.
Yeah, so I'll back up a little bit. So this is our logo for Memphis Escape Rooms. Our logo is an octagon, and then it's got some circuitry built in the middle, and then our Memphis Escape Rooms logo on the front. So that's what it is.
That's cool. I knew what it was, but a lot of people don't. Now, Are you only located in Memphis?
So we have 2 locations in Memphis, and we have 1 location in Florence, Alabama. Those are our current spots.
That's cool. And then Seabeck Tribe, we were talking about caches that surprise you and everything.
Yep.
Out here, she's actually from Pacific Northwest here in Washington.
Awesome.
And Goblin Dust is a great creator here. She was, after one of his popped open when they found it, it still scared them, even though they knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, the old Jack in the Box syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you crank that knob and you hear the song, and you know that clown's going to jump out of the box, but it still scares you every time.
Sparky916 says, I think it's important to use suitable bread crumbs.
Subtle, yep.
Yeah. And then it makes the solver feel a sense of accomplishment and gives satisfying AHA moment.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Sure.
I guess breadcrumbs is kind of the puzzles as you get to the end. I would imagine is what he's.
Yeah. So instead of maybe one big hard solve that you get to accomplish at the end, is maybe steps along the way. In the escape room industry, we just call them, like confirmation lights. If I get one step right, maybe a confirmation light comes on. There's a little breadcrumb, so I know I'm headed in the right direction. And then I do something else right, and then another green light comes on. So, and then, so I know maybe on the third try, ooh, a red light comes on and it all starts over. So I do think that that's very important to kind of pull the solver along in the right direction, or let them know that, that they did something wrong reading these comments.
Bell in the Move said it's great to see progress. Yeah, it is. It's very good.
Unless it's leading you to a red herring.
Well, but that's still progress, because you'll eventually find out it's red herring and find something else. But yes, I try not to do too many red herrings, because I find that ends up creating people just breaking into the cache.
Same in our industries. We try to put things with a purpose. If we have things in the room that could be construed as a puzzle, people will either try to solve it and break something if it's not supposed to be solved, or they'll get through with the room and feel like maybe one of the puzzles wasn't working because, hey, there were some numbers over here and we never did anything with those. So that must mean that it's a broken puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. I mean, yeah, if you get done with it and you think it's not working, then yeah, it was a broken room, broken puzzle.
Yeah. So Roomba Cat's made a comment about helping the patron feel like they're making progress. It's one of the things that we do. So anytime someone is doing a room, they have a person assigned to them. We call it a room host, and they do just that. Is they guide our patrons, our customers, through the experience, knowing we have a roadmap that shows the time frame and what puzzles you should solve and where you should be in a time frame. I mean, our goal is that people escape. We want people to get out. We're not trying to design puzzles where people get stuck, or they're so difficult that people can't solve it. So, and we never just give them the answer. We just kind of nudge them along so that they feel like they're accomplishing it on their own.
Yeah. And one of the hardest parts for me I want people to have a good time and create a great experience.
Absolutely.
How long is too long for that experience to last?
Right.
And what is too short? And that's one of the tough things. Too short typically isn't an issue, but I find hopefully about 5 minutes for the puzzle on a geocache is about where we want to be, 5 to 10 minutes, but I like to try and keep around 5. Now you always get some people that take an hour and a half.
Absolutely.
And I have video of some people, actually recently, a guy who tried to do it, spent a half hour on it, shut it up, got in his car, sat there for a couple minutes, got out, reopened it back up, tried it again, still couldn't do it, got back in his car and got out, did it again, and finally finished it.
Sure.
And but yeah, that was over an hour of him doing that. But they got to find it, right? And they start thinking about it and like, well, maybe I'm doing this wrong or this right. And for me, I put my phone number on there just in case they have an issue, right? Because I want you to find it. I want you to have a good experience. I don't want you to be frustrated and walk away.
That's right.
So, he didn't call me, but I do get a lot of calls, and then I just give him a nudge. I have several little nudges to help them out, and usually one nudge and they have it. So
just takes a little kickstart.
Yes. And then that way I'm not telling them how to complete it, and they still have a good experience.
Yeah. So Roomba Cats is asking, is there a great escape room mechanism? Maybe not mine, but that could use magnets. I think there's a ton of things that could use magnets, in using, in a gadget cache or in an escape room puzzle. You can use magnets to move things. So maybe there's a metal object inside of the box that you can't see, and you use a magnetic part to move it to a different part of the box. Maybe it's a physical lock mechanism that you need a magnet to, again, move the lock mechanism inside the box. Or if it's an electronic puzzle, you can use magnetic switches, like a reed switch or something of that nature, to where the application of the magnet just completes a circuit. Maybe it's to turn a light on or activate a lock, or something of that nature. Maybe it's to activate a little flashing light that gives a code. So there's a lot of things you can do with magnets for sure.
Oh yeah, magnets. Bill on the Move here mentioned that red herrings, back to the red herring subject, leads to bolt cutters. It could. I think he did bolt cutters on one of his own caches.
Yeah.
Himself. But and CPAC Tribe, we're talking about, she's in my area. She was at a cache for 15 minutes getting frustrated. I believe she called me. But at the same time, I was in it's a shopping center.
Yep.
And I saw them. I have 3 caches on that. And I actually saw her drive to one of the other ones, and so I actually end up meeting them at the next one.
Sure.
So,
But I also think there's something to be said about testing. You know, if you're going to create a gadget cache, do a lot of beta testing. Let several people play it, because you don't want it to be too difficult. But at the same time, you don't want to build up expectations on this really cool gadget cache, and then someone shows up, and then it's just a breeze to solve. It kind of lets the air out of the balloon, so to speak. So I think that beta testing, not only for strength and durability of your cache, but for playability as well, super important.
Sparky 916 here mentioned that 5 to 10 minutes he think is plenty for solving a cache. So I agree. I like to beta test mine. I have cachers locally here that I take mine to events. I can take mine down to HQ and have people there test them. Sorry, I was going with that somewhere with that, and then I started reading. Anyway, yeah. So definitely have them beta tested. You know, there's always something that you're not going to think about, and you need to change.
Sure.
So
absolutely
nothing. Boy, I wish I could remember what I was talking about. I thought it was important, but really not.
Going back to the magnet question. You know, if you get into rare earth magnets and neodymium magnets, really powerful magnets, you can do some really fun stuff with a magnetic field. You know, you can have four magnets in the corner of a box that are strategically placed to where an object in the middle of that, maybe with an opposing pole, will hover. And that could be a hint to one of our rooms. But if you use opposing magnets strategically, you can make things hover.
That's cool. Now, so I built a lamppost cache, LPC.
Yep.
That uses a magnet system.
Yep.
I have a special tool there to use now because it's magnetic. People think they can use their own magnet, but it's actually reversed. So you actually have to use the tool itself. A regular magnet won't work.
Cool.
So I had a lot of people mention that they were out their own, and they're like, I don't know how you did it, but it doesn't work with any other magnet but yours.
Yep.
So that's just, yeah. So anyways, thinking about that. Roomba Cat says, do you have a favorite item that you've seen like a hinge knob lock that isn't used in the traditional way?
So Roomba Cats, most of our things in our rooms is we take things and use them in ways they're not supposed to be used in all the time. So for example, we have mag locks, which were originally designed just for security doors. You know, it holds the door closed until you want to beep somebody in or somebody swipes a RFID card to let them in. And then that will open stuff. Sometimes we want it to release things or open things. And sometimes we want things that are easily open to now be secured. So we'll use a magnetic lock, a mag lock, in ways that they're not supposed to be used in. We have another room where we use the components from a low voltage, like a touchless charger for your cell phone or a Surface charger, where if you put your phone near a Surface charger, somehow through midair voltage travels. And so if you take technology like that, it really gets the mind waves going on what you can do with wireless voltage.
So I had an idea. I have it down here. I haven't finished it. I have a Tesla rack.
Yep.
And I thought about using different colored light bulbs. So you have to get so close to it, and that light bulb would light up, and then that would be the code. But
Wow.
Talking about wireless stuff like that, I mean, ideas like that is really cool. And I saw that. I don't remember where I saw, like Bill Nye or something. They were doing that, and I thought that would be really cool for a geocache.
Absolutely. So let's say you have some LED lights, some pretty low voltage LED lights that are in a puzzle piece, and then embedded in a separate part of a puzzle or a box or something, you have this wireless charging mechanism So if you get the right, and that's also coupled with maybe an RFID reader and chip. So when the right puzzle piece gets placed near the right socket per se, then the puzzle piece lights up. It's not just a light within the cabinet, but your puzzle piece could actually light up and start to glow because it's receiving voltage from that wireless charger.
Yeah.
So that's a fun twist.
You just
right there.
put an idea in my head. I'm gonna have to write that down for something to mess with. Yeah, when we were talking about magnets too, how powerful they are also matters, because you don't want something that's so powerful that it just has to get close to set it off, to set off whatever your reed switch, right?
That's right.
So you want something that's is powerful enough that when it touches the right spot, it sets it off, but not so powerful that when it's within 6 inches or 4 inches, it sets it off. So that's something to think about too.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm writing something down here. Okay.
That's okay. It's good ideas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ryan mentioned Audie was trying to do something with the Tesla charger in Colby, but couldn't think of a way. Oh, that's too bad. I would have sent him the Tesla charger probably, or the Tesla rack thing. It's just a tiny little thing I got from some Chinese catalog that actually is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Chronically tired mom. I'm not sure what she's trying to say here, but I would totally get into magnet fishing. You never know what murder weapon to.
Yeah. So magnet fishing is a trend that I've seen it on YouTube, where you take a really powerful rare earth magnet or a neodymium magnet, like big ones. They're huge. Mm-hmm. They probably have 300, 400, 500 pound capacities, and they tie them on an end of a rope, and they basically dredge a pond or off of a bridge or whatever, and then people find all kinds of weird things underwater with magnets. That's magnet fishing. Yeah,
there is a YouTube guy I've watched do that. So I wasn't sure what she was meaning by that, but now that you mentioned it, okay, I get it.
Yep.
So cool. She also mentioned here that what murder weapon you might pull up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be touching that.
Yep. But I don't know, if you had a big enough box that could hold murky water, that might be kind of a cool puzzle, where some of the pieces might be bolted down or unmovable inside, but maybe if you magnet fish inside of a little container, you could pull out certain pieces.
That'd be cool. Have you had any puzzle where you use syringes?
We try to stay away from needles. Not just
kidding. You can do it without the needle.
Right. So no, we've not used. You're talking about maybe like in a hydraulic fashion?
No, just in general. So I have thousands of syringes, like 10 milliliter syringes.
Yep.
And I had an idea for one, and then it kind of, I think someone would get tired and just kind of wreck it. So I've kind of not done anything with them. But since I have a whole bunch, I thought I could pick your brain for an idea for a geocache using a bunch of syringes. So originally it was going to be a box you got to reach your hands into, and you got to find the syringe with a log in it or something. Okay. But almost like a not Scream, but what's that other one with the clown face guy? Forget his name anyways. Type of cache. But yeah, so I decided not to go with that idea. So just trying to pick your brain.
Yeah. See, Roomba Cats is asking about escape rooms doing well with simultaneous puzzles to occupy multiple people. So we have rooms that it's possible where multiple puzzles can be solved at the same time if you have a larger group in there. But generally speaking, the escape rooms that we try to produce, we want to encourage teamwork. So we would rather not have a bunch of puzzles being solved at the same time. Then you create, if I go in there, if Chad and I go in a room and Chad solves this really cool puzzle, and he just says, "Hey, I got this code," but I didn't get to experience that. So it kind of leaves me left out a little bit. It happens, but we don't like it to happen.
So it kind of goes back to creating a fun experience for everybody. I mean, you want to make sure they all experience that puzzle or that portion of that escape room.
That's right. And just like some of your gadget caches, I think you have multiple players, where it takes multiple people to solve it, is we try to incorporate puzzles in our room as well that take you can't do it by yourself, that it takes multiple people. We have some contact puzzles. Here's another idea. If you have a building that you can attach your cache to, is to use human bodies to transfer a current to where you have contact points that are maybe 20 feet apart, and you've got to join hands to touch two different things.
I have a couple of them built.
Yep.
Right here, actually. So these are them here, and then you have your relay, and then your two touch sensors.
Yep.
Yes. One of the issues here in Seattle with it being wet is we would have issues with the touch sensor working all the time.
Sure.
I'm not sure why, but anyway, I have seen it. We've kind of created it into a cache, but it ended up not working very well. So
yeah.
But I love that idea. Just got to figure out that part I had issues with. I'm sure I could go to some kind of engineer, probably Dave, and talk to him, and he could probably figure out a way to make it work all the time. So
sure.
But I love those. So I love one of my favorite caches to do are teamwork caches. So it requires more than one person to find the cache.
Sure.
Because I think that makes the experience even better. So one of mine requires 3 to 6 people to find, but there's rarely times where you have that many people, but there's a really busy walking trail right next to the cache. So it's encouraged to ask people to help you. So they bring in bystanders to help them. And people are like, oh, what is this? I've never heard of this before. And then they get to explain geocaching to them.
That's awesome.
But that's one of my favorite ones that I've found out there. It's called It Takes Three. Is Ryan said that. I don't know if he was talking about mine, but my cache is It Takes Three is the name of it. Is that right? Yeah. So, and Ryan also mentioned Dave can solve anything, could fix anything. He's probably right. I probably should send that over, but anyways, now that you brought it up to me again, I probably should. That'd be fun. We have some kind of big event happening here in Seattle next month, so I could probably get it put out.
There you go.
Yeah. Great. Well, we're right about at the end of our time. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Man, I don't think so. It's been great. It's been a good show, some good questions, and we covered a lot of really cool topics. Like I said, I would love to host anyone that wants to make the journey and come visit Eleanor, my cache. And I would also love any questions about escape rooms or whatever. I see Roomba Cats is asking about dueling rooms. We have not done that, but there's another escape room company that did build a room to where they're 2 mirrored rooms. They're exactly the same. And your team splits up into 2 teams, and it's a race to solve. In fact, their room design is it's kind of a different things you solve take points away from the other team, and then different things you solve put points into your bank. So it's a constant battle of stealing, and there's some strategic methods in there. And I played it with a group, and I didn't like it, but there are some rooms out there that definitely have that part to the room, dueling teams.
That's cool. Yeah, I had a
who's this Sparky 916? Apparently I rock, and thank you.
Yeah, you do rock. No, I appreciate you coming on. I actually would like to have you back and maybe talk about making a puzzle box together where it has multiple sides with different puzzles to finish. For sure. I definitely would love to have you on, and we can build that. One quick question. What's your favorite tool you use to build your escape rooms?
Man, again, we're kind of old school. I think the most versatile tool that we use is a big table saw. We've got a cabinet table saw. It's got an air table where we can move large sheet goods around really easily. And it's an amazing saw. It has I think a 72-inch capacity on the width, and then we have an 8x8 feed table out of it, and with a removable section so that we can walk around the 8x8 as a work table and get between the saw and the table. and it's kind of the central piece in our shop. And we've done some really amazing things with that setup. We can cut, wood and plexiglass. We can cut steel if we have the right blade on. And then we can do very, very intricate work. I've got a couple of sleds that go into the table saw to do very intricate work and cut all kinds of little cool details. So by far, I think the table saw is the most versatile tool.
Having something like a cabinet saw or something that has a table that helps you with that definitely is nice.
Yeah,
I'd love to have one.
for sure.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Real quick, Eminem from M says that Vertical Madness is his favorite cache, and I think it should be.
It's good. It's a good one.
I think it's better than any caches I have just because of the experience you get.
Even
if you don't find it, the experience to even try to get to it is amazing. Yeah. But
it has to be, because ultimately it's just, as I said in the very beginning of the show, it's just an ammo can and a tree. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But you got to get
Pizza Ninja says, thanks for the great show. Chad and Shannon are a dream team that would build a great gadget cache and escape room.
Yep.
Oh, I'd love to. I just won't lease a room to you. We'll have to figure something out. Maybe you guys will have to open up an escape room in Seattle.
I think here's an idea, Chad, is I think we should do a series of gadget caches and maybe like a multi-cache, and each stage is a gadget, and maybe kind of theme it. They would all be in the same theme, so it works kind of like an escape room, as you have to solve one to get to the next. And each piece, each solve gives you information to the next gadget. And so you can never solve one gadget without solving the one before it. And
that'd be cool.
An escape room series.
That'd be cool. I have one around a hatchery that has 5 different, and it just actually went live again last week. It was due to COVID, the hatchery was shut down, and that's actually an electronic one that is sat there for 2.5 years without being used. I couldn't get in to check it. And so it has Arduinos and all kinds of stuff in it. And I thought it would be bad. I opened it up, changed the batteries, it started right up.
That's awesome.
Anyways, there's 5 different locations with different things that you have to solve to get to the final. But yeah, and you have to do it from stage 1 all the way through in the correct order.
That's cool. So yeah. I want to respond real quick to Sean Schulte. I think he says, will tree spikes work? So I would never allow anyone to climb Eleanor or any good tree with spikes. If you're not going to remove a tree, then don't poke a bunch of holes in it. It doesn't promote good arboriculture, tree health. So I would be very upset if someone tried to get that cache using tree spikes.
Won't be me.
Yeah.
There's no reason why I don't think anybody can just call you and set up a time to.
That's right. That's right.
Find it. But Roomba Cats mentioned that his escape room is his retirement plan.
There we go.
Maybe I'll retire with him.
There we go.
And Castelline said immersive video to come soon. I'm thinking he's talking about Eleanor.
So he did a lot of he captured a lot of footage when he did that cache, and I am very excitedly anticipating that Cache the Line show when he covers that experience. It'll be really cool.
So Roomba Cats, Eleanor is the name of the tree.
Yes.
But yeah, so if you don't follow Cache the Line, I'm not sure what the channel is, but and you want to see this amazing 4.5, 5 cache, make sure you follow his channel, and you'll be able to see a video of it.
Yep, you can do a YouTube search, Cache the Line, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. I was actually kind of waiting for him to pop it in the comments, but he's a host, so I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the network.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, well, we should probably wrap it up. We're right about an hour here.
Yep.
But I definitely won't be the last time we have you on. I have ideas. I'll have to talk to you off the air and maybe come up with some stuff, have you on, do some more builds. That will be fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. Anytime, man. I'd be glad to do it again.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your time at Cache Fest, helping people up Eleanor.
Yep.
And really appreciate it. So we'll have you back on soon.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Great. Good night, everybody.
Out.
Oops, sorry. I got to do the closing.
Hey.